Madeline Andrea Smith. Matthew Richie Bedard. Michael James Hogan. Casey Brennan Donahue. James Aid.
He's very funny. Put some shoes on.
Herbert.
Put some shoes on. I'm getting Casey right now.
Casey.
He's so shy. You egged him on.
Okay.
Best from the president of the senior class, Casey Brennan Donahue.
Come here.
All right, given the air temperature, I'd like to keep this brief and then get off stage before Al Gore stops by and decides to do a documentary on the climate change going on under my graduation robes. But before I begin, I would just like to clear the air on a topic. I'd like it known that during my speech, I will be giving no personal shout-outs. I will be dropping the names of no friends. This oration will be delivered with the utmost decency, and I refuse to stoop down to such childish tomfoolery. However, $5 is $5, so I'll just mention briefly that Matt Scatchell's the man, young moderates for life, and long live the Falconetics. Moving on. I am indeed Casey Donahue, but Dr. Ratchford kind of just told you that, so now I feel like an idiot. I was also going to welcome you all to graduation, but I feel like that line's already been stolen from me tonight, so I'll just begin my rambling right now. It has been said that an education from Avon High School is like having a conversation with Mr. Slayton. The time is short, the content is thought-provoking, and somewhere in the middle, you are sure to be reminded of your complete insignificance in relation to the universe. But none of you need feel insignificant tonight, I assure you, because tonight we celebrate an academic triumph of grand proportions. In your hands, you hold a high school diploma. You have achieved the unachievable. You have risen up from the streets and hoods of Avon. And you have done what no one else has done since 2009. That's right. You have delivered all your library books. You have managed to fail 3 or less classes, and you, Avon High School class of 2010, have managed to graduate high school. So, kudos. Now, I think it's safe to say that this is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to any of us, period, not counting middle school class night. After all, this is the last opportunity we will ever have to see the entire class together at the same time, on the same lawn, without having to buy a ticket to a Dave Matthews show. So please soak it in, because I'm fairly confident that after tonight you might as well hang it up and you will never be as cool as you are now again. Well, it seems to me as though our lives are best measured in terms of intervening variables. Tiny, unexpected game changers that keep us on our toes, that make us change our plans at the last minute. Consequently, our memories are defined by that crucial separation between what we expect and what we experience. When the two coincide, we see satisfaction. When experience falls short of expectation, however, we see adolescence. Now, many of you may then look back and view your time at AHS as a testament to the fact that you will never get exactly what you want in life. At first, this may incite frustration, disappointment, resentment, but it's not so bad, because this is what growing up is really all about. That's little disappointments. Our teenage years are the compilation of thousands of little disappointments, all bunched together to form this one big triumphant letdown we now call our youth. But again, it's not so bad. As students, we want things. We often do not get things. We strive for A's, we come away with B's. We ask for spicy chicken patties and we get pizza in a box. We want 6.91% and, well, we get 4.4%. I wanted a pink Disney Princess backpack at the beginning of the year, and they only came in aqua green. I don't know what that was all about. But it is through this angst that we find a sense of being, this sense of belonging. Now they say that only through the greatest perseverance may we overcome the greatest friction in life. This has been proven true time and time again by the administration's persistent and unwavering no grinding policies. Although I understand here that we are dealing with a different type of friction entirely, the logic remains sound, and we take from the example that conflict does indeed build character. Now, our class has a unique claim to fame, and that we have come of age in the dawn of a new millennium. And just as the events of this decade will dictate the events of the next one, so too will our childhood experiences determine the value with which we approach our lives as adults. A generation may be defined by the balance of its positive attributes against its negative ones. We are a generation of iPods and oil spills, bird flus and swine flus. We text, we tweet, we TiVo, we tag, we took the APs, SATs, ACTs, and the CMTs. We upload, we download, we use our Blackberries so we don't need the yellow pages, and we drink Red Bull while we use our Bluetooth to go green, although we're really thinking pink, and we never have more than 4 at a table in the library. So now we know what defines the era of our youth, but what defines us as individuals at this pivotal time in our lives? Well, it begins with our childhood dreams. Okay, now usually this is the moment in the speech where I turn my beaming, hopeful eyes to the class, tell them to follow these dreams no matter what, to shoot for the moon and land among the stars, and only you can prevent forest fires, etc., etc. Well, to my peers, I will say this much. Follow your dream, unless your dream is absurd. To anyone who still wants to be an astronaut rock star, putting for a hole-in-one to win the Super Bowl, this job market is simply too competitive, and as a friend, I would strongly advise against it. On that note, I now thank my guidance counselor, Mrs. Lieberfarb, for never once encouraging me to fulfill my destiny as a starting point guard for the Boston Celtics. Instead, she approached my future with an optimism tempered by a realism. And with this attitude, she has convinced all of her students to achieve more than they ever thought they could. So, I hope you look at your childhood expectations not for what they were, but rather that they were there at all. The goals of our youth are never to be validated by the extent to which we have attained them, but rather by the fact that at one point we possessed them. And I suppose that it is this recognition that is what it truly means to grow up. Now, some of you will move on to do great things, but not tonight. One of you might cure cancer, but not tonight. This may be the first day of the rest of our lives, but it is far from determining that life's value. Tonight there is no rush, there is no pressure. Tonight I hope that none of you look too far forward, for there may be nothing to guide you. Do not look too far back either, for there may be no one following. Instead, I hope you turn sideways. I hope you can look at the people around you and recognize the value in a hometown. I hope you can appreciate the importance in a best friend, a classmate, a memory. I hope that when you look back at this day, you think of these people, for they are the characters of your autobiography, and they have made you who you are today. When you look back on this day, I hope you remember Avon, because surely Avon will remember you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like nothing more at this moment than to rejoin my classmates, because to be quite frank, there's no other group of students I would rather graduate next to. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. And at this time, would the graduates please stand and move your tassels from the left to the right. Mr. Goler, Mrs. Rell, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Bowden, Mr. Sunblade, parents, family members, friends, having met the requirements set forth by the Avon Board of Education, I present to you the graduates of Avon High School class of 2010.